Welcome to Confessions of a Terrible Leader, where real leaders share the raw truth about the lessons they learned the hard way so you don't have to. Join our host, Layci Nelson, founder of Transcend Leadership Collective and former terrible leader. On this podcast, we invite you to step into the confessional and get real with the messy stories and behind-the-scenes reality of leadership. Let's get to it.
Hello, listeners and watchers, and welcome back to Confessions of a Terrible Leader. I'm your host, and let us not forget, former terrible leader, Layci Nelson. I am thrilled to welcome Glenn Sandifer to the show today. Glenn, thank you. Glenn is a senior executive within the security industry, which is fascinating to me. And he has over 20 years of experience in scaling and leading security companies. He's also an author, a husband, a father, a dynamic guy. So, Glenn, welcome.
Layci, thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to your audience for the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. When people ask you, like you're at a party or you're hanging out somewhere and they're like, Glenn, what do you do? How do you answer that question?
Depends on the party, but what I've been doing lately is my job is hard to explain. So I just say, I'm in sales in the security industry. Oh, what are some of the things you do? That's kind of what I explained, but I have had the privilege over the last 5 years of leading two of the largest security integrators in the country. And it's been a very, very humbling experience. It's been a very detailed learning experience on how to communicate effectively, how to lead people, how to lead with empathy, how to be data driven,
right?
How to be client focused, all while also delivering on a number.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I say I do. But lately I've been saying, hey, I'm an author if I'm in a creative setting, or say, hey, I've been a business owner and I have a consulting practice. It really depends on where I am.
Right. That's fair. You're, like I said, a dynamic guy. You got a lot going on. I want to know, what is it like to lead a team of security-minded people? That has to be an interesting... How would you describe your teams? What is a common thread that seems to run through the people that you are leading and helping?
I think for the people that I have helped over the last 5 years, the majority of my team were not security professionals.
Okay.
And I was very intentional about that because the job that they were asked to do had very little to do with security.
Tell me more about that.
Their job was to sell an additional service in an existing account or take a net new opportunity and sell an appointment.
Okay.
So what do you need to do in order to be successful with that? You have to be likable and have rapport building over the phone pretty quickly. You have to have great follow through, follow up on requests, and then you have to know how to do an accurate discovery. So I went with people who came from a CX, CS, or an inside sales background and put them in position to where I'll teach you the security piece as a former installer. I can teach you that. What I can't teach is for people to pick up the phone and be able to handle rejection and be able to build rapport. I can't teach you how to make people like you.
Right.
I think the common thread that I would have for my people that I've had the privilege of leading is dynamic. The second thing would be they are adaptable. 1 month, I may ask them to do lead qualification. The next month, we have an outbound campaign where I need you to sell $7 million. Go do it. So it depends. And you really have to make sure that you're going for the right character traits of an individual in our space. The security professional, for those that don't have exposure to the industry, it is still very small business. It's still very insular. I would liken it to golf.
Okay.
It is golf. Everyone who's a golfer loves golf. They look at every tournament. They're at the Masters. They're practicing their swing. They're doing it. And the people who love golf for 40 years. Those are the people in the security industry. The majority of the people in the security industry did not come outside of the industry. They started with a small company. It got acquired. It got acquired. It got acquired. It was spun off. It got reacquired. Then they've had a 20, 30, 40-year history just in security.
What do you think are some of the most misunderstood things about? It's like a twofold question. What do people misunderstand about security? First of all, I think a lot of different images come into our mind when we're not in the world of what we think security is. So how would you help us understand as consumers what even is security? And then the second question is, different vein, what do you think business owners really misunderstand about sales? That's two totally different questions. So take them in whatever order it makes sense.
Let's get off the security piece. So we'll start there because the audience is going to be like, dude, don't try to sell me anything. I'm not. Trust me. Gosh. So most people, I believe, think security as one of two things. It's ADT, which I'll say the brand name because I don't work there, or it's cybersecurity. That's all they
Right.
hear.
Right.
Two completely different avenues of the security industry, but all both necessary in order to do what matters. Any security person that you ever come across as a business owner or as a vendor manager in your business, if they are not serving as a consultant for your growing and ever changing security needs, find a new vendor. You have to make sure that they are a partner with you because every business looks different today than they did in 2019 and 2022 and now 2025 with this reporting. And their needs have changed. Some have had to double down on cybersecurity efforts because of threats of attack, because of data breaches. Some have also had to create more infrastructure because we are a remote workforce now, specifically in North America, particularly in the US.
Yeah.
And then from a priorities standpoint, we saw more businesses fail in 2022 than any time in history. In 2023, we saw the most filings of new businesses. So as a small business owner, as a regional business owner, or an enterprise manager in an organization, what do you need to do to protect your people, protect your assets, and protect your partners? And so if you got somebody coming in that says we can slap up 5 cameras and that'll be great, what are the purpose of the 5 cameras?
Right.
And if they can't explain to you what that is, run. That's security. The misconception is that we're a guy who knows a guy who's on the back of a truck who pulls wires and we're just here to sell you something. That's not it. At least that's not what the people that I've talked about that I've brought on, I teach them how to sell.
Right.
Let's pivot now to small business owners. So
Yes.
I'll put my consultant hat back on.
Thank you, sir.
And not my senior executive hat. What people, I believe, mainly misunderstand about sales as a business owner is you're always selling. You're salesman number one.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a startup founder and you're an engineer by trade, you have to sell the vision of the product or solution that you're offering. And you have to bring on individuals to help fill the gap of demand generation, closing deals, and delivery on the solution. If you have something as simple as a dry cleaner, putting up cleaners on the side of your business is not enough to help generate revenue. You have to be in the local community.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be present in your local trading area. You have to be advertising. You have to get your name and your face out there so people know that you're the best cleaner in your local zip code.
Right.
But I think a lot of business owners, they have started businesses and they love the thing that they do. They hate sales.
Yeah.
So then let's flip into that. So what do they do to combat that? They go hire someone to run sales.
Yep.
And then when they hire someone to run sales, they haven't done the work themselves of understanding their product and how to sell it and how to position in the market. So they go trust someone who may not be from their industry, but who can sell.
Right.
And then they're trying to figure it out. So they waste 6 to 9 months figuring it out when 3 months they could have gotten with a sales coach and then they would have been able to figure out how to position their product as a value proposition.
So I'm hearing you tend to see a lot of us small business owners, mid-sized business owners. We go out of order.
Mm-hmm.
I am really good at putting the cart before the horse, by the way, in my own business. I have lit money on fire multiple times. So
Lit merch, litten.
Yeah, litting some money on fire multiple times by going out of order. You know, I had the right idea, but I didn't understand the execution.
Yeah.
And I think having a coach to help you see the order of operations for execution, man, would have saved me an embarrassing amount of money.
I'll say it now because I'm 5 years removed from consulting. People paid me and I literally, at the end of the contract, I was like, you didn't need me. What you needed to do was do the job. I'm glad I put the playbook together. I'm glad I hired. I'm glad I trained. Glad I migrated your CRM. I'm glad that we got you back in the community, but don't pay anybody else. Go do it.
Yeah.
Get it as a point of frustration and then solve for it. Because then when you see missteps, you know, like that's not how we sell here. This is how we sell. This is how I need you to position.
Right. What are the things that you look for? How did you vet clients to go, they actually are ready for me? Because I'm sure there's a point where they're not ready.
I've been an accidental consultant with a consulting practice twice. And that means that's translation is I was laid off. And I was mad. So I started, I'm going to be a consultant. I'm tired of this. That was literally my attitude, which is an awful attitude to have.
Not sustainable.
It's unsustainable and it's the wrong reason for going into that business.
I have seen a business do exactly that, and it is no longer around. So yeah.
The first time, I just accepted whatever contract someone would pay me. And so you wanted me to put together a sales training, I put together a sales training and delivered it. You wanted me to put together playbooks on inside sales, I did. Want me to migrate a CRM and move you from HubSpot to Salesforce, I learned it and I did it.
Yeah.
That was the first round. The second round, I asked myself the question, what do I like to do?
Yeah.
And I said, I like home service verticals and individuals that service the home. And I'm in a growing area. And so I looked for clients that were above a certain capitalization. So let's just say their revenues were around $2.5 to $10 million.
Yeah.
And they had under 100 employees.
That was your sweet spot.
That was my sweet spot. So I would go to everything and I would just go out and I would pitch HVAC owners. I would pitch security companies, whether they were an integrator or a manufacturer. I pitched a bunch of remodeling and project management companies that were just looking for more ways to generate sales.
Yeah.
And I was able to, specifically in the last year of my consulting practice in 2020, I was able to get 2 really good clients. And those clients, I saw an increase in their understanding of the philosophy because they kind of fit. They were touching a certain vertical. I had the experience in all of those verticals and they listened. They trusted me as an advisor.
Right. Excellent. When you are working with someone who's really hesitant to consider themselves in sales, and I 100% agree with you. If you own the business, you're in sales. No matter who you've got on your team, you are the primary salesperson for the company. When you are trying to shift mindset, how do you help get people to be able to own that? Like I just stated, when they're like, oh, no, I hate sales. I don't do sales. Where do you even start? Because I also used to have that, but I don't know if I can articulate my journey of how I came to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever reflected on it enough to give it language.
I think just to your other point in your comment of Litton money, I'm like, Layci, how long are you going to spend this money on having someone from the outside do this when it's something you can do? Part of both of my consulting journeys was to offer a process and then deliver ownership. It was always intended to stop.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be a 1099 in perpetuity anywhere.
Right.
It was kind of the story that I told myself and I lived out that practice. But it was always 3 months, 6-month contract, 6 months, let's redo another 6 months. If that's the journey that we believe. And so I would have monthly check-ins with those clients and determine, are you seeing value here? Because what I would hate to do at the end of this is to not have a good referral from you.
Right.
You may have 5 other peers in other locations that need your services and you're like, hey, Glenn did this for me.
Right.
And the last client that I had, that's how we actually ended the relationship. I said, listen, I've done all these things. You're spending millions of dollars a year on advertising and SEO and all of these things and it's not working. How long are you going to do this? Well, until I hit the number. I can tell you, you're not going to hit the number that way. This was the best way to hit the number. He trusted me for 30 days. Then we ran that play. And then once I left, I handed it off to the next person.
Love it.
That's probably the best path. You have to gain their trust. You have to be a trusted advisor with data.
Yes.
And use the data to drive the decisions.
Yes. When you go into organizations with your consulting hat on and you're helping them figure out why something isn't working, do you see common patterns of missteps that they're taking?
Yeah. The first is going to be no documented process.
Tell me about that.
You have one person who does X job and then that person leaves, they get sick, they're on maternity leave, and no one knows what they do all day. All they know is Layci handles billing, Layci handles sales, Layci handles the website. And so the first thing in the common thread that I've seen in businesses that are looking for help is always there's no documented process.
Yeah.
For those businesses that are looking for help in sales, it is really just a confidence issue. Do I have the skills in me in order to go out and articulate the value proposition? Am I solving a problem in the market or am I just doing something? It's always clarifying for them the value proposition and the why behind their product, good, or service, and then getting them to be salesman number one. And then after they're salesman number one, we bring on salesman 2, 3, and 4, and then you can push it out. Again, the companies that do not see themselves, the founders and owners that don't see themselves as salespeople are the ones who struggle with their revenue.
How do you know if I'm a listener and I'm like, I think I have a decent values proposition? How do I litmus test that?
I would litmus test it by cold calling some accounts and I would give my speech.
And see how it goes.
And just real-time feedback. Because here's the reality. So let's overcome the fear of that because everyone just shuddered.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
no,
oh God.
No.
Cold calling. It's the worst.
You don't know them.
Yeah.
They don't know you.
Yep.
So the only thing that could happen is absolutely nothing because you already don't know each other. They're not going to then stop what they're doing, go on LinkedIn or go to your website and look for you and then start bashing you. They're going to be like, I got another cold call.
Right.
Litmus test it through actual activity. So just test it in the market. If your listeners, if you start another SaaS company, is what I always say, I need to know, how does this differ from the top 5 tech companies? I need to know what problem this is solving for me as a business owner.
Yep.
Or for me as an executive leader that's making this decision.
Yep.
If they can't tell me that and I get a long list of we've helped companies do this that are looking to scale their revenue by delivering results while also providing visibility into the pipeline. So dashboards on Salesforce? Well, no, we go a step further. How? And what problem are you solving for Salesforce? Can't articulate it. It's not going to work. And then you go back to your group and you be like, all right, we contacted Glenn. We talked to him. He's over there at the security company and that's who we want to target. It didn't work. So let's call him again and be like, hey, Glenn, you may remember me. I'm Layci. I talked to you a couple of weeks ago and I just wanted to get some feedback on you if you have 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Sure, I got 5 minutes. I'll help you. And then you go through it. And then that person doesn't know you, so they can be as honest as they want to be with you and give you the feedback that's required. You go back, take it back to your group, and you refine it. The art of scripting and the art of discovery are lost, even with sales professionals. They don't want to get on the phone and try.
Mm-hmm. And you see the ones that are succeeding are the ones that are willing to put themselves out there and be uncomfortable.
Yes. I came from, even as an employee in a large-scale organization, I'm like, you guys can't get anything over me. I had to knock doors. I had to stand in kiosk in the mall. I had to be at the state fair. I had to be at college football and basketball games.
Yep.
I had to be on the back of trucks and couldn't come back until I had 2 deals. I'm not giving you a pass because you don't want to pick up the phone.
Right. Do you find people that are in sales that don't want to pick up the phone?
Yes, they're farmers.
Oh, wow. We have a few farmers. Talk to me about that.
Not your farmers. We're talking about farmers. They want to be order takers. They want the large enterprise account.
Oh, I got you.
That delivers revenue consistently year over year so they can hit their quota.
Yes. They don't want to hunt.
And here, if no one knows this, you learn to hunt in your 20s. It's really hard to hunt it's really hard to begin hunting in your 30s and 40s. You need to do it if you decided to start the business.
Yeah.
You need to learn it, but you learn to hunt in your 20s when you have the energy and you're poor.
Yeah.
So you go out.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. You're not going to eat this week. And oh God, here's something that'll really blow everyone's mind. The business owners know this that cut the checks, but the employees of the business owners don't. Just imagine if you were commission only. How would you approach the business? You would approach the business with intentionality every day.
Right.
Let's go to security.
Yeah.
Security standard used to be you would have 2 appointments a day. How to get to 2 appointments, you would pull 50 doors. So just let that sit in the rain, in the sun, in the snow, in the fall, on vacation. Your goal is to still knock 50 doors in any trading area and get one person to have a conversation.
Yeah.
If you go to 50 doors and you're able to get 15 conversations, you should come away with 2 appointments. And those 2 appointments should lead to 1 deal. That's how people built on commission-only jobs their entire book of business over a 20-year career.
Yes.
That art is now lost because we have such a huge tech stack that people are depending on that tech stack to do that.
Yes.
It's never going to be replicated by the tech stack. You can't Zoom info or seamless AI your way into contact data. You can't use demand-based or intent for Zoom info to get someone when they're on your website and then hit them with the right AI-generated email message that they're going to respond to.
Thank you.
You actually have to do the work.
Yeah. And I would say, I think people now are already starting to get really savvy. They know when a robot's talking to them and they don't like it. Most people don't like when it's not a real live breathing person, no matter how smart that robot is on the other side.
Okay, where everyone's located, I know no one has cable, but everyone has internet.
Yes.
My God, when you call Xfinity or you call, what is it, Spectrum now, which used to be Time Warner.
Yep.
Thank you. We see that you're calling from, it's just like, oh, here we go.
Yes.
The number. And it's just like, can someone pick up the phone? Representative. I see that you want a representative. And then you go through this whole game for 3.5 minutes. And then you finally get into a queue and you're on hold for 30.
If you're lucky, it's 30.
If you're lucky. Now, I have seen how the AI works on in a CX environment through chat. I think that's fine. But if I'm going to use a chat, it needs to be able to give me a solution in 15 minutes.
Yes.
Everyone knows Pandora. And I think most people know SiriusXM. They merged. So I was going to quit. I was done. I was like, you can't have no more of my cars. I don't need the app. I got Apple Music and Spotify's better. I go onto the website to try to find the number to call. The AI pops up, the chat, and I tell them that I'm ready to quit. They pull up my account information. They see what I'm paying. They see what I've been listening to. And they say, it seems like you like these 7 things. We can get those 7 things in a cost structure that what you're paying each month, you'll just pay for the year. Would you stay with us if you can deliver that? Yes. Click. I log into my dashboard. Everything's changed and updated.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the experience every company needs to have in CX and chat. If you're going to use a robot. Otherwise, give me Layci and Glenn on the phone.
Yeah.
Let Layci and Glenn pull up my account information and let us know this is being recorded for quality assurance.
Yep.
So we can do our best to fix all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of our very successful clients runs a logistics company, and something that sets them apart in the industry is they guarantee that a real person will answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter if it's a holiday, if it's whatever, they're never going to get an automated response. That's huge for them in their industry. They're dealing with flowers and produce, which are very time sensitive. You're going to get a load rejected if you don't get it there on time, right?
Perishables. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a different way of handling it.
Yeah, it really does set them apart. Understanding that is a big deal when it matters. I love how you just drew the line of this is when it works, this is when it doesn't work. That's extremely valuable insight. Yeah, we want to push a button and have it simple until we don't, until there's more complexity.
There's so much complexity in phone trees. I just went through this process with a former employer a couple of years ago. It's just like, can we fix this phone tree?
Right.
Why is it so complex?
Yes.
Some were jumping into other call queues on other dialers using other software where it required people to be into 2 instances. I'm like, this is madness. This is madness.
Yes.
So just imagine how the client is experiencing this.
Right. Simplify. You know, instead of adding, what can we actually take away? Let's start with that as the problem solve. Amazing. Okay. Glenn, I know in your experience, getting to where you're at today, 20 plus years of leading teams, major efforts, working both in major enterprise, working with small mid-level businesses, running teams of various sizes, you probably made a few mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the point in the interview where we welcome our guests into the confessional to tell us what is a leadership mistake that you have made in your journey. Call it a learning opportunity, call it whatever you want semantically, but you look back and you go, you know, if I could get a do-over on this, I actually would not do it that way, or I will never do it that way again. What can you share with us?
I scaled headcount too quickly.
Talk more.
Most leaders want to have the largest organization as possible because let's just talk about vanity. It looks good on LinkedIn.
Right.
I lead a 500-person organization. It's just like, okay, all right, Bill, thank you. But I scaled too quickly in the sense that in a previous role, I was asked to start with 10. I pushed back before I started and said, how about 4? And they said, well, how about 8? And I said, how about 4? And they said, well, how about 7? I was like, I'll give you 6. And 6 was a really good number to start because we had to spend 90 days proving that this program would work, which is what we did. Then I inherited 2 more.
Okay.
Right? The 2 were great. So I was at 8. Then someone somewhere got the bright idea, hey, let's give him 15 to 20 more people. And in my excitement and hey, yes, let's do it, without understanding the complexities of the organization fully and what that decision meant. And that decision really meant that I had to find work for them.
Yes.
In the organization.
Yes.
So even though there was a problem and this organization had this as a typical solution, let's just build out another team.
Right.
Instead of evaluating the bandwidth of the existing 8, we went ahead and we added another 20. And it was chaos there. And that required more complexity. That required me to create tiers. That required me to have an analyst. That required me to have more Zoom meetings than I care to remember.
Right.
On how the ROI was working. Now, I made it work. But then when cost cuts inevitably started happening for everyone who's old enough to remember 22, everyone left their jobs in 20 and 21 and they were getting 40,000 over the deal came due in 22 and then we had to start cutting. So I had to let go of the people who did nothing wrong. They did everything that was required of them and they delivered.
Mm-hmm.
I took that as a lesson to slowly scale in any environment, whether it's consulting for a small business or whether it's in an enterprise organization. If someone asks me for 10, I always scale it back to 40%.
Yes.
I'm not doing 10 because if I do 10 and it's not working, I'm going to change and impact someone's livelihood.
Yes.
And I would rather not do that right now. I think that's probably the best lesson. I would say, even for the small business owners that I consulted, they found that that was their biggest issue. They thought that they could just throw money at a problem by hiring more people without considering the workflow, without considering their processes, without considering their systems and the time it takes to manage people.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. I think people wildly underestimate the amount of time for solid leadership practices that management actually takes.
Yeah. There was a season where I had 20 one-to-ones a week.
Yeah.
I couldn't even serve effectively during that season because after I did a one-to-one, I was on another one.
You couldn't follow up.
I couldn't follow up.
Yes.
There was no AI taking notes for me. So I had to, it was maddening.
Yeah.
It was maddening.
I definitely have been in organizations as well where they were really in a world of pain and it was because they were dying of indigestion, not starvation, right? Just too much, too fast. Exactly what you said. Well, we're growing. We must need X more of these positions. And they don't take the time to slow down, think it through, do some accountability mapping and charting, figure out where capacities are. Absolutely. What great insight. This has been a super valuable conversation. And I feel like we're just scratching the surface of things that we could talk about.
Yep.
If people want to find you, Glenn, and are interested in connecting, interested in learning more about how you think about sales and how you think about business, where do they find you? What's the best place? And we'll drop all the links in the show notes.
I think first, the best place is going to be on LinkedIn. My profile is up to date. It's not open, so send me a message and we'll connect. And I'm on LinkedIn at Glenn Sandifer. And don't do Glenn Sandifer Sr. That's my dad. He's not going to accept it. He's going
Noted.
Who are these people? Also, you can connect with me at glennsandifer.com. My website, I have it back up and activated. It's a great way for individuals to connect with me if they're looking to learn more and get more insights regarding sales and just really how to run their business. Happy to always have an initial conversation with someone to see if there's a way that I can help. And then if they're interested, I'm also a published author. TMG book series, parts 1 and 2 are available, tmgbookseries.com. And I'm on the core 5 socials. I'm on TikTok. Oh, that's the thing. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and X. And we do a weekly show every Friday that comes out, just reacting to a couple of things related to how to get great dating outcomes in a modern world. After this year, I'm telling everyone I'm done talking about dating because I'm tired of everyone.
Okay. Glenn, it has been a really valuable conversation. Thank you for sharing where people can get a hold of you, where they can find you. Is there any last tidbit words of wisdom you want to leave with our listeners today?
Yeah, I'll say this. Sales is the easiest way for you to change your family trajectory. So if you're a small business owner and you're struggling in the sales department, don't spend any money on SEO or social. Take the time, get with a sales coach and learn the process and how to better articulate your value proposition in the market. And you'll be successful in the long run.
I love that. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your expertise, your wisdom, your experience. It's been great. Like I said, I feel like there's so much more to ask. I just want to do a whole episode on crafting a value proposition.
Let's do that.
That's
what the people want.
Yes. Okay. I love it. Thank you so much for your time today. And listeners, you know the drill. Until next time, go manage like a leader.
Thanks for listening to Confessions of a Terrible Leader. If you're feeling brave and have your own terrible leader story that you'd like to share, head over to transcendleadershipcollective.com/podcast to fill out a guest application. We'd love to hear from you. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is hosted by Layci Nelson and produced and edited by Fixation Point Productions. Music is by Leif Olson and Mary Scott from the band The Number of Months. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is a free leadership resource offered by Transcend Leadership Collective. If you are ready to refuse the limits of average leadership and join the leadership revolution, visit transcendleadershipcollective.com to check out our offerings for engaging workshops, strategic planning, and more. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. And until next time, go manage like a leader.